Today, we look at what the world is designed on, how nature inspires, how humans invent, how trial and error leads to new creation. We learn the elements of dance. We ponder on the question, on a what if. What if there were no birds, no flying insects? Would humans be able to create a plane, or would we still be walking on the ground? We're joined by a special guest, Miranda Bartolomucci, a competitive dancer whose craft is inspired by the beauties of nature. I'm your host, Nathan Rondoni. This is Connecting the Dots. Let's get into it, Miranda. In what way does dance actually represent nature?
It's an art because dance can tell a story. So it depends on the type of dance you're watching, but there's, for example, like theater and music. In a play, a lot of actors and they dance and stuff. So they're like expressing their movement and like their emotions. Yeah, exactly. So like I've watched so many dances on like natural life experiences, like heartbreak, happiness, trauma. Even a lot of sad dances are really popular for some reason. There's a category in the dance world, it's called lyrical, and it's so popular for like sad dances, so like breakup songs and stuff like that. Yeah, really, really popular. But it's a real life thing, and I think the reason why dance is so cool is it can move you. You're telling a story without using words. You're watching something in front of you without using words, and it's beautiful. Like you feel it. It's like music. It is music because you're using music to dance. I mean, there's some dancers that dance without music, but I find that dance. Okay, I saw this thing. This is a
hot take here?
Yeah, it's a hot take. I saw, it was basically like...
It kind of, what she's like getting at is music is like what you build off of. Music is the foundation, and then the dancer uses the music in their own way.
Kind of, yeah.
It's like the same way how everybody has a different way of interpreting certain things. Everybody has a different way of dancing to different music to express themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like in many different ways too. Like more than just like emotionally too, but like the beat and stuff, like the rhythm, like it's more than just beyond the lyrics.
So the root of dance, do you think it represents movement of animals in nature? And do you think nature influences dance?
I think yes for both. I think more of the second than the first. Besides like the musical Cats, I haven't seen a lot of dances that are based off of nature.
Nature influences dance. We could agree on that, right?
No, absolutely. 100%. And it, like especially human nature, like 1,000%, because you're telling a story. And usually I think stories usually aren't like made up or something. Like it comes from a real life experience. Like it may not be true to you. Like if you're dancing to tell a story about like something that has happened in your life or has happened to somebody else's life, usually the artist of whatever music you're listening to, you're telling a story of something that you can relate to, or you're comparing it to your life. Okay, like for example, I'm doing a piece this year, it's a dance, and it's to the song We Can't Be Friends by Ariana Grande. I feel like it's a very popular song, people know it, but basically the whole thing is at the beginning of the season, before we learn the dance, we broke down like, what's the story? Like, what emotions are we telling? How are we comparing this to our life? Like, yes, you can hit all of the movements and like the qualities and like the textures and stuff, but if you don't have that emotion, you're not telling that story, and you can't make that connection with, in my case, the judges or the audience. So they can't really understand that story. If you're just passing through the movements, you're like, what am I watching? I'm just watching someone move to like music, but they're not telling a story. So we broke it down. We're like, okay, what is this about? And basically we broke it down. We're like, okay, it's about a friend group that is friends, but they're like kind of all toxic. And so they all talk bad about each other behind their back. But then they like become friends again after like sorting stuff out. And that's basically the whole idea of it. And it's based off of kind of like the choreography as well, because the choreography can show like expression too. Because like if you're like, you know, people that talk with their hands, and they're like, wait a minute, like they're talking with their hands. It's basically that, but like on a whole other level. So that's like kind of the nature of it.
I want to go a little deeper on that. So you mentioned choreography, planning out the dance. What does that even look like? Like, how are you going throughout a practice or preparing for a recital, how many hours is spent getting ready to perform and to tell that story?
Oh, like
What is that, the lead up to a dance recital or a competition like?
Okay. In total, I don't know how many hours, a lot of time and effort. I think that in the dance world, there's not that much knowledge on it, and it's often compared to like dance moms and stuff. And I feel like that's so inaccurate. That is so inaccurate. Like the girls, they literally learn a dance in like 3 days and a new dance in 3 days, and then compete it at a competition like every single week, which is so like
Unrealistic?
Yes, so unrealistic, and that's not real. A lot of dancers, they just like, what's it called? You learn a dance like at the beginning of your season. We don't really have a season. It's just kind of, we dance all year round, yeah. But you learn it, and then you just like clean it all year long until you go to a competition and compete it against other insane dancers that are like crazy good. But basically at the beginning of that whole thing, I think the choreographer, usually the higher up in like level you are, usually the choreography is like already done. Like for the dance that I was talking about, we had a choreographer fly in from LA, and she had already like learned it and stuff, and she just taught us it in one day. And she came in, like cleaned us, like cleaned the dance, which basically means is like once you learn it, they like slow and break it down through every moment, and if you look different than like somebody else, they'll like make sure that you like look the same.
So basically, is this what you're saying, that one person comes in, shares the dance, the choreographer teaches the dance, show it in one day, and then for the next 4 months or whenever the comp is, week in, week out, different people are coming in and perfecting it, and is that how the story is created? And do you think there's emotional ties to the dancing? Because you spend so much time on it, like you really want to perfect it?
Oh, yeah. I think that this scenario isn't always accurate to other people's scenarios. Like the situation that we were put in to learn this dance is very uncommon, I think. I mean, the choreographer coming in to teach us the dance, I think that's pretty common. Like that happens a lot, but there's also a lot of dancers that it's like their choreographer teaches them over like a couple of weeks. That's how my tap dance was. The one that I told you guys about was my jazz dance, but my tap dance, we learned it over like a couple of weeks because you have one practice for that class a week. So we learned it over a couple of weeks, which also works just as well. But yeah, when the extra choreographers and stuff, they just came in to like clean it because when we needed somebody to fill in for us because we needed a teacher. But it works for whether you have the same choreographer or if you have many different choreographers, they're going to come in and clean it. And
so there's been something that I saw on my For You page. It popped up. It was a deep question. And it was, if no flying insects, birds, bats, or anything of that sense existed, would humans be able to create a plane? How does that creation and that imagination in our minds, is that affected by nature, or do we come up with it on our own? Like for dance, you said the movements are influenced by nature. Planes are influenced by eagles, birds. Helicopters influenced by the hummingbird. Bullet trains are influenced by snakes. All these different things we have created, like the roadways that we drive on, are influenced by ant colonies. All the stuff that we've created, is it perfected by humans? Is it made worse by humans? How do you think humans are able to create new things that don't already exist in nature?
Well, I mean, I think a prime example is gravity, the like concept of gravity, right? Isaac Newton, well, there's like a whole entire story. He stole it from someone who stole it from someone else, but let's just say Isaac Newton, right? Apple falls from a tree. That's nature. That gives him the idea of like what makes this happen, which is like the idea of gravity. Why do things work the way they do?
How do things fall?
How do things fall, right? And that made him to lead up to this equation that then explains what gravity is and what it does, and then that whole entire solar system, fill in the blank, right? I feel like that does correlate with birds. It's like, why are they able to fly but we can't? And I think that there's like some examples of like some famous inventor from the Renaissance era, but he was making like ideas of what a flying machine could look like, but it's like really close correlated with a bird. And so it's like, where would we get that inspiration? I don't think we could without birds or like some example, because so much of what we do is like based on an example. School, you learn things based off of an example. Life, you learn lessons based off of your past, present, and future examples, right? So it's like, where would we even get the idea?
I also think of like the combustion engine in that sense.
I mean, nothing was an example for that. We just
Right? We were still able to
I guess-
create that.
Yeah, well, the combustion engine partially came from a steam engine. Steam engine was before the combustion
Okay,
engine.
then the steam engine, right?
And that's the thing. The steam engine, we saw fire, right? Fire creates energy. And so then we took the idea of fire. We saw that water can become heated, and then we can use the water to then move things. And then we went from water to gas.
But we weren't technically inspired on the
No.
design of that steam engine or combustion
Yeah,
engine.
we just took
by
multiple
nature.
ideas and synthesized them together, which is what I think we do for a lot of things. So I think it might be possible or plausible.
Do you think? I want to send this one to you because it takes so long to learn these dances.
Yeah.
Do you think it would take even longer to create an airplane if we didn't have the influence, or do you think we
yeah.
would be able to create a better plane?
I think that the influence is a really big part of it, and I think that because we're so complex, like our brains, I think that scientists would eventually like come to like that conclusion. Like there's still the concept of wind and things blow in the wind, like leaves and stuff. So like you're seeing that and you're like, okay, well, what makes this work? Like breaking down the science of it. I think that everything in nature, or that everything like in like that we've created scientifically and stuff, comes from nature. Because like I'm gonna do it in a super like theological way. Like if we draw it back to the beginning, which is like the Bible and stuff, God created everything. He did like all the animals and stuff, like the sun, the sky, the light, like, or the oceans and the clouds and stuff, all for a reason, right? So I think that it kind of like we're evolving in a way that's not like, oh, humans evolved from monkeys or something. But I think we're just learning about our surroundings. And I think that it just comes from like curiosity and stuff. So I think we would get there still, even if there weren't like birds and insects and bats and stuff. Because conceptually, we're saying that the world is still the same as it is right now, except without all those animals, right?
Yeah.
It would just prolong the creation of those things because human curiosity.
We're saying without
right?
the influence
Yeah.
of
them.
seeing things fly, would we create a plane?
I would say probably yes, because we still have wind, right? And I
There's
think
still
that we
other
would
examples.
There's still things moving throughout the air.
exactly. It might look a lot different and work a lot different, but I think we would get to that idea, or we'd at least explore it. And if we are taking those animals out of like what's it called, evolution or whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called, like the environment and stuff, it's a food chain and stuff. So I think other things would start crashing. It's kind of like,
Well, it's like if they never existed.
Yeah.
if they never existed, this entire environment, like it doesn't seem
Well, the
that
environment
drastic,
would
but
be
it would
different.
change a lot.
Well, I mean, it's like Back to the Future, right? If
Right.
you've seen Back to the Future,
I was literally
you
about
do
to
one
say
thing,
that.
Yeah.
Same
I
wavelength,
was
right? You
literally
take away
about to say
one
that.
thing, it drastically changes things for the better or the worse. So let's say, just for an example, we take out birds. Obviously, the ecosystem is going to be different, but it's like the exact same example. Things still happen generally at the same time. Like in the story of Back to the Future, the timeline is still the same, but when Marty beats up whoever his dad's bully is, things change, but it's still the same people, the same setting, same house, but it's
Just
just
roles
different
kinda change.
circumstances.
Yeah.
So I think the general thing would be we would still be able to create planes. We'd follow the same idea, but it would just take longer.
Okay.
I think the same thing with like dance in that sense as well. Like it's really just like a sense of movement when you think about it. Like you're just expressing yourself in dance. It's like when you're excited, do you like, if you're really excited, people jump up and down or something. I've seen it multiple times. Like that's expression, and I think it's just in a more artistic way. So yeah.
Yeah.
So curiosity is expressed.
Yeah. Curiosity.
Definitely.
I'd say that's like sum it all up in one word, curiosity.
Well, that's going to wrap it up. Episode 11 in the books. Thank you for coming out, taking time out of your spring break to come film this.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
pleasure.
we dove deep. We went
Yeah.
we went
That was a long little session there.
we went into a lot, and I think that's what the show is about. It's about people getting together, taking time out of their day to think about these big topics. Because I mean, we are the next generation. We're going to be faced with these world problems, and we have to be able to think our way through it, whether it's influenced by nature or not. Let us know down below if you think we would be able to get a plane if we didn't have birds.
Yeah.
Insects.
I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that. We do stuff like this every week. We post daily clips weekly uploads of pods. Thank you guys for watching. All the support has been amazing.
Go follow us on Spotify.
We have Spotify now. I'm your host, Nathan Rondoni. This has been Connecting the Dots. What do we always tell the people? Have a good day. Fade to black.